Very interesting times we're living in right now. Something's going down. Something's going to go down soon. Just don't know when or exactly what day. I moved to Bossier City to take care of the weather and test out my skills, but I'm also in the perfect place if World War III kicks off. And if it does, I have front row seats. I don't even have to leave. I just pull out a lawn chair and sit in my backyard and watch the fireworks. Having said all that, I wanted to tell this story. I've never told this story before. I wanted to talk about the day that I met this guy. If you don't know who this is Ron Jeremy. Now, I could care less what he does is what he used to do as for a profession. I was happy to take this picture that day because of the movie he was in. It's called Boondock Saints, or The Boondock Saints, I believe. That's the official title of the movie. He had a small part in that movie, but he was a part of that movie nonetheless. So that was my reason number one for having this picture taken. But I need to go further in time. I need to give you guys some full context as to what happened this day and why this picture is so significant, because it's more than just meeting this piece of shit. I could care less about actually meeting that day, but it's the events surrounding, actually the events that took place after this picture was taken. So I'm going to walk you down memory lane. I'm going to give you some context, some things that happened prior to this picture being taken, and why we are where we are today. Why I am where I am today with my gift of Atmokinesis. So let me get right into it. I'm going to tell some things that I'm sorry. I am who I am. I'm not only going to tell you the good things about myself. I'm going to tell you the bad things too. So I believe in keeping it real with people, regardless of how ugly the truth is. The truth is the truth. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to be as quick as I can because I don't like doing these. I've never told a story before, so I want to make sure I get it right. When I was 17, we went to church a lot. In fact, we would go to this church in this lady's living room. Her name was Serena White, prophetess Serena White. Never will ever forget this woman. Was she out of her mind? Absolutely. But did she have a gift? Yeah, she had one for sure. But it's not so much her. It's really her mother what scared me the most. Serena is a native and black mixed person, like me. Her mother was full native. I can't remember what tribe, and it doesn't even matter. I remember one day before church, she walked right up to me. I was 17 years old. She said, "You're going to marry an Asian woman." Threw me off. What do you talk about? I'm not even into Asian people like that. That never put a bug in my head. All of a sudden I'm just into Asian women. That's not how that worked. In fact, the way I met my wife was like the most just weirdest way how we got together and got married. But if you consider Pacific Islanders Asian, which they're not, they're Pacific Islanders. But I understand what she meant. But there's on a handful of times, I can honestly say about 5 times in 2 years, I got called out in this woman's living room saying that you're going to do something great. Give your life up to God. And what's up with all this animosity towards my stepfather? He was beating me at the time. But I couldn't say that, in church. I just kind of took my lumps. A lot of amazing things were prophesied at this lady's church in her living room. I'd say 2 years of that, and then eventually, I had a big falling out with my folks, ended up just leaving, ended up joining the military, and fast forward some years later, incident happens, I come home, and, we kind of rekindle our relationship a little bit, but I still remember everything. I always was prophesied, you're going to do something great, but they could never tell me what it was, and that would always piss me off. I never believed everything in the Bible. Come to find out later that, a lot of the stories are allegory. Stories exaggerated or not real altogether. But there's a lot of truth in that Bible. So it's very confusing. I was very confused at the time. Fast forward to, I believe it was 2014 when this picture was taken. I was with my wife at the time for 11 years. Wasn't the greatest. I made a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of infidelity going on my part and on her part. So when I tell you I'm embarrassed about what I'm about to say, I do not care. I was at this event with somebody I wasn't supposed to be there with. This person got tickets to this event. This is a convention for adults. That is a VIP pass around my neck. So when she presented, hey, we're going to go to this thing this weekend, I was like, oh, cool. I was pretty excited. I was like, okay, let me, see what this is all about. Looked it up, found out who was going to be there. And I knew he would be there, but that same week he had a stroke. So I was like, okay, he probably won't be there, but there'll be other people there. As we're walking to the venue, guess who drives by on a white Saturn? Ron Jeremy. I was like, oh wow, he's actually here. He just had a stroke. That is I guess he really needed that money. This picture cost me $20, by the way. But all of that means nothing. When we walked in the venue, I remember seeing this young lady. We made eye contact, as you do. There's so many people in the venue. You're going to make eye contact with somebody. I remember specifically this one Caucasian lady. She was really short, brown hair, had a dress on, but she did look out of place. I remember she stared at me, looked at me with the tilt of her head, eyes got big. This is when we first walked in the venue. I was like, wow, okay, that's a little weird. All the performers, they had their own little station, so they set this place up like a maze. Actually, I did not care for the performers or the people there because they had a little section for glassware, water pipes and stuff like that. That was what I was really interested in. I was going to get a deal on a water pipe. The girl I showed up with, it was annoying because everybody thought that, they could try to recruit us. If we were there, they were trying to recruit us as a couple to do camera work. I was like, oh no, heck no, not doing any of that. Every 20 feet, I would turn around, that young lady would be staring at me. I didn't understand. I was starting to get freaked out a little bit, but I just ignored it. Did see Ron there. He had a tall ass security guard standing by him. So it was $20. You give tokens. So tokens, you give money for tokens. So it was like one token for $20. So I gave him a token, got the picture. He did not say a word, didn't speak or anything, but I said hello. And I was like, The Boondock Saints is one of my favorite movies, probably top 20. That's what I told him. And he just smiled and that was it. The person I was with went to the bathroom. While I was standing and looking at all the glassware from Roar, ROOR, you guys know what company that is. She taps me on the shoulder and she says, hi, can't believe you're here. You have a very rare color aura. It's magenta, like violet. That's what she told me. She said, you are gonna do something great on this planet. Take my card. Please come and see me for a reading. I need to talk to you. And then she was gone. And it seemed like this lady was just following me because right after she said what she needed to say, she walked out of the venue. I don't know what that was about. I have no idea. The girl I was with, she walked up. She was like, did that girl just come up and talk to you? I was like, yeah, she gave me this card and she said a whole bunch of stuff, but whatever. And that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. I never went in for my reading. But I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that day. This is 2014. So if we're going to go through my timeline, 2009 is when I had my near-death experience. 2011 is when I figured it out, what I was supposed to be doing on this planet. And 2012 was when I was introduced to remote Atmokinesis, meaning I could use radar to weaken storms and not actually have to be in the vicinity of it. I learned that from Hurricane Sandy with Miss Kelly Coffey. She's the one that broke that news to us. She also had a near-death experience. So I have no idea how she figured this stuff out. Now, by 2014, I wasn't, I worked on Hurricane Sandy with her for that little duration. It was like 3 hours. That was it. And then I never really did anything other than that. Even in 2014, knowing that I have this gift and everything, it still wasn't sinking in because I wasn't utilizing it all the time. I just use it every once in a while. Let's say those Santa Ana winds, I would help out with those. Person I was married to at the time was a photographer and she needed my help on location to help calm these winds down sometimes. So I did have the gift. I just wasn't as good at it as I am now. So this stuff is all hindsight. This is like the short 10-minute version of my story. Eventually it's going to be a really long one, but this is, the gist of it. So yeah, I have this picture in my house of this piece of shit. So when people see it, I have to explain the story of why it's in my house. Because he's a piece of shit. We all know what he went to court for, what he got in trouble for, what he was up to. He doesn't even look like this anymore. But this picture is a reminder of that psychic that I ran into at that convention in Los Angeles in 2014. That's my story, and that's the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. You all take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.